Hey everyone! I'm so excited for today's film. I hope you guys will be too. Because today I have a pile of, I think, are really cool pins. Pins that I would freak out if I saw. I want to show you what makes a pin more rare or more special than other pins. How sometimes you can find markings on the back of them when you flip them over and look. And the backings will be in either an AP or a PP or even something more special than that. And I want to show you guys what is an error pin, what is a proof pin, what is just a really rare pin, and why. I'm so excited. Let's do this. I'm going to start with the ones that are the most rare. Not like the actual pin that's the most rare, but the type of pin, which is going to be these right here. And I'm not talking about because they're a piece of Disney history. I'll show you why. These are really cool pins in themselves if you've ever seen them. They have a bubble on them. Well, not always, but usually. And it'll contain a real piece of an attraction or something from Disney from like a ride. And they're a piece of histories. But the thing that makes a pin, okay, let's start with how Disney makes pins. So when they decide, like with the artwork, they'll design it or draw it, and they want to manufacture that pin for sale. Well, they don't just go and, you know, make the pin and sell them. They first have to go through a process, like any artist, right, or company who makes something. They'll make what they call a first sample. They'll just make one pin, a sample pin, and to look at it, to see if the colors look right, if everything is how they want it to be. Once they look at it, they might say, you know what, that doesn't look right like that. I want to change that around there, and it's a way to like see the actual pin that they want to produce. And the first samples will look like this on the back. Here is a first sample pin, and they will have this sticker on the back of it, which is like their little product number sticker when they make it. It also has a PP stamped in it down here like a normal prototype pin, but only the first samples have this little sticker on it. And it has right here, it says from Pro Products, date is 2009, February. It says CWO number, and they wrote this one in. Our item number, and it says PP-728, and it says note first sample. And this is, I've seen people like pull these off of the pin boards at the big yearly pin events at Epcot, and maybe not know what they were, but these are very rare pins. They're different from other PP stamp prototype pins because this is like I said, the first step they'll make, and then if they like it, then they'll move on to make other PP normal pins. Here's another sample, and another, and this can come on any pin, limited edition, open edition, and those are first samples. Can you guess what comes next? Next comes PPs, pin prototypes or pre-production pins. And like I've been saying, these will be stamped on the back, so this is one of the reasons why you should always check out your pins. Hidden Mickeys, even when you get them, anything in the parks or you trade with someone can be one of these special pins, so look at the backs. Next we're going to do PPs, and there are two different types, I guess, of PPs. So when they make the pin and they make a pre-production pin, let's choose this example. Now looking at these two pins, they look identical. I've looked them over, they look exactly the same. You wouldn't know the difference unless you do, like I said, and you flip them over and you look at the back. Once you do that, you can notice a stamped into the metal letters, the P and the P down there at the bottom. And on this one, it's right here by my thumb. It's an AP, which is the artist proof. So this, is the third rare one, artist proof. And this is the second one, the PP, which came after the first sample that is out there somewhere. Now, there are some PPs, remember I said there's two types, there are some PPs that are different. So here are the AP and PP pins for the Tinkerbell one. Now this is the same series they made in '08 for Disneyland's Valentine's. You know, it's the same style pin. They just made different characters. There's like maybe 3 or 4 different characters. Do you notice anything different with these pins? All of the other pins, the APs and the PPs, have the dark red glitter background. But look at this one. My dad also has a Miss Piggy one they made that has this color glitter on the back. Why is that? Why is that different? It shouldn't be different. That's because this is the PP pin, but when they made it, this is how they first made this series, obviously, with this kind of yellowy glitter in the back. See it? They, after looking at this right here, this is a PP, after looking at it, there's like, you know what, it just doesn't make it pop enough. We're going to change that glitter color. And they changed that series to this red background color. And the other PPs and the other APs, they all have this red color. So this type of PP is going to be more rare and wanted than this type of PP that looks exactly like the pin that was manufactured. A pin like this, it was never really made. This is maybe 1 or 2 of a kind, because when they manufactured it, they changed it. This pin I think is super cute, not just because it's Lady and the Tramp in love. This is 2007 Valentine's, and this one is a PP. It has some, like, the metal on it got tarnished, you know, but this is the AP. I mean, this is the normal one they made, just how they made it. This is the PP. The thing that's different about this PP is on the back. Let me show ya. Right here, it's limited edition. This one is limited edition of 1,000. It's how they all are. But this one that they made, it says limited edition of XXXX, and that is, on this pin, is what shows it as the prototype that they made before they ran the whole series, the whole set. So I think that's really cool. This is the LE of XXXX. These are really awesome because here's more examples of PP pins that are not like the ones they ended up manufacturing or making. So they're like rare, one, you know, a few of a kind. This one is 4th of July in New York City, and actually the color, see, there it goes. It's like a really dark burgundy red, and the pin that actually was manufactured is like a more bright classic red, and this is the PP. We have this Nights of Pin Trading. I went to this event with my family. We actually bought one of these pins from the event that night, and it does not look like this one, you guys. It's weird, you know, after seeing the other one for so many years and now seeing the difference. This one is a PP. Let me see where it's stamped. You can see it right there. The 2 P's are stamped in. Usually you can find the letters anywhere when you're searching. You can find them, you know, on any parts of the pins. They're often in these little boxes here. And sometimes they're so tiny you need a magnifying glass to see them. So you gotta search for them. But this one's different because the cauldron color isn't the same as what they ended up making. The rim of this cauldron is hard to see in this light, but it's like a dark brown. And I think the one they made is like a purple or a green. So that's a really unusual pin. And same with these right here. Do you notice a difference on these 2 pins? They're supposed to be the same. Now see, another thing is that if someone sees a pin that looks different from what was made, they'll say, this is a fake pin. Look at that pin. That's a fake pin. It's missing its writing. Well, especially if it's like a cheaper pin, you know. Well, that's not always true. It might actually be a super rare pin. A rare pin that never even got produced. You might have like a one-of-a-kind pin that you're just throwing away or giving away as a scrapper. So this one is from the White Glove series. You can tell it had the 3D white glove icon. And this is how it was made. I don't know if this is an AP or normal. But it says, you know, Hollywood Studios Inauguration 2008 on the clapboard. This one is missing the writing, and it is actually marked on the back of PP. So that was like before they put the writing on there, they were just deciding everything looked fine. So I think that's really cool. This pin is one of the rarest pins I would know of because it is actually an AP2. The year that they were gonna make this, 2005, they made a back to school series. Well, this one, it was actually never produced. They only made 2 of them, and then they just never made them. So this is one of the 2 that they made. So it is literally like an AP2. It was never manufactured. Another thing that can make a pin, more rare is an error. And I mean a legitimate error. Now sometimes you'll see errors on pins that aren't real. That is true. Like when the China company scrapped it, they just didn't look at the detail and they put like a wrong date or a wrong detail on it. Yes. But some pins Disney manufactured, it went through all their processes that we just talked about. The sample, the PPs, the APs, and the people didn't notice an error. Like on this one, it says 1993 for Mickey's Christmas Carol. Well, that movie came out in 1983, so this is a legitimate error pin, and that can make a pin more valuable if, like after they ran it and sold it, because this has happened, they'll notice it and they'll stop the production. They'll pull all the pins, but people would have already had a chance to buy some of them, and then they'll reproduce them in the correct manner. So those error pins that they had actually sold before they pulled it are going to be more wanted and rare than the ones they ended up manufacturing in the correct way. Another really cool thing about pins from Disney auctions and the old Disney shopping when they sold them were proof pins. You can get pins like this one right here. This is Alligator from Fantasia. He's full body. I think he's like an LE250. My family, we've had him for a long time. I just love him. I just can't get rid of him. But then when I moved in with my dad, I was looking through his pins with him. He was showing me his pins, and we found this one in his pin book. And I was like, oh, I have that pin. But it wasn't until I took it out of his collection, we were going to look at both of ours and compare them and see which one was less scratched, with the possibility of maybe selling one of them, since we don't need 2 of the exact same pin, right? So when we pulled them out, oops, sorry, I knocked the camera. When we pulled them out to compare them, we noticed that they looked different. Do you guys see the difference in the slight color variations? This guy has like a more matte color to him, and this one is like a shinier, like a lighter colors. It's actually really hard to tell in this light. If you had them in your hand, you'd see the difference for sure. But it's because the one my dad had, when you flip it over, it's on a black metal base, whereas one I had is a gold metal base. They are exactly the same on the back with their, their Disney auction, their Arm & Hammer, icon and everything, and their writing. But these are what you call, they have proof series. They will make pins in gold, black, and a silver metal. And they usually only make, in their proof series, they'll only make like 4 of them or something. Like it'll be an LE4 of the black, an LE4 of the gold, an LE4 of the silver. This one I couldn't even find on Pinpicks. I couldn't even find anywhere if they had like a proof series of this. Maybe it was just something they had produced, like we were talking about, and just didn't change and made them gold. It's definitely a real pin, but to me that just makes it even more cool and rare. But that's just really cool. You can find proof pins. My dad has one of Lock, and it's like a LE4, and it's a black metal. The last thing I have for you is this super adorable Bambi and Thumper pin. Now if you look at this and you go, oh, because their little noses are touching, and that's just, isn't that just gorgeous? This is an extremely accurate example of what would make a pin rare. This is an open edition pin. It's not limited edition. It's, it's older, maybe like 2003, I'm not sure. But the reason it's so wanted, like on Pinpicks or on eBay, so expensive, is because it's adorable. Now, a pin with like a lot of writing and like something like a, just like an icon that's not attractive, with no like actual character that someone's gonna fall in love with, then it's not gonna be really wanted. Even if it was like a LE20, it wouldn't be as wanted as this open edition pin, because of the characters and how cute it is. So that's another thing. If you're wanting to, buy pins to trade in the future, to have really good traders to get something you want, you're gonna look for things that are gonna be more rare, like the castle, adorable characters people can't resist, like the princesses and the princes, and you know, things like that, instead of something that might be like a little niche collection that might not be like super popular. So that's another thing to think about. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my video as much as I enjoyed showing you all the pins and telling you all the information. Please, if you did, subscribe and give it a thumbs up and let me know. Thanks so much. Happy collecting!